don't make this thing too plenty. Oh.
Yes, we're ready. Good morning and welcome to Enterprise Morning on Enterprise TV, reaching you from the heart of Lagos. I am Kende Boduri.
And I am Henry Igwebike.
Right, so it is a beautiful day to stay informed and inspired. We will begin with the newspaper review. Right after that, we will dive into our main conversation for the day. Do not forget to join the conversation, drop your comments, and do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. So to dissect this with us, we have Barrister Tunji Abdul Hamid. He is a barrister and also a public affairs analyst. You're welcome.
Good morning, Barrister, and welcome.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so very much for your time, as always. So let's kickstart our affairs this morning with the Vanguard newspaper. And we have the big story, Ibom Air fracas. Comfort begins live at Kirikiri. NBA waits in.
Okay, we also have Atiku. ADC condemns Tambuwa's arrest, say EFCC now political too.
And also on the top strip here, I have 2027. I won't deny Tinubu. We have been friends for 22 years, and that's coming from Professor Chukwu Masoludo, Executive Governor, Anambra State.
Yeah, we also have 16 inmate attack warders, breach Kirikiri Prison, 7 rearrested.
And also on the bottom strip, Showore leads the protest to NYSC headquarters over unjust treatment of core member Ushie Ogwomaye.
That's true. So we also have NMA raises alarm over mental health crisis among doctors.
Okay, and the last story we have here, VP Shatima to investors, it's time to invest in Nigeria. Barrister, let's take a look at the burning issue here, especially with the ADC. Atiku Abubakar, LDC, condemns Tambuwa's arrest. It says EFCC now a political tool. Barrister, knowing the reason EFCC was created or formed by Olusegun Obasanjo, it is under the coffers of the federal government and presided over by the president of Nigeria. Do you really think that the EFCC is a political tool, or they are doing the job they've been called out to do?
No, it's not a straightforward answer because it depends. Circumstances sometimes show that toes that line, and sometimes it appears they're trying to work. Because I think in my own appraisal, generally I've seen them as being used as tools sometimes, most times, to pursue political opponents.
All right. Are you still there, Barrister?
Yeah, I'm with you. I said for me, generally,
okay.
I am of the view that most time they appear to work like somebody who's working to achieve a particular objective. I'm not saying they don't have the power to investigate. I'm not saying they don't have the power to invite. But most times, the way they invite people and the way the kind of people they invite make it look like they are being selective. If you look at the situation on ground, you know that if they tell you that most of the governors, former governors, former senators, majority of them have questions to answer. Especially if I look at the former governor of Sokoto State.
Yes.
Before he became a minister, he was the same EFCC. They were looking for him. They were the allegation of corruption against on his neck. Our Senate president today, before he became a Senate president, there are allegations of corrupt malpractice against him that they are investigating. Since they became a minister and they became a Senate president respectively, there was no any investigation thereafter again. They were not called again. So that is to suggest that when you are in a particular position in Nigeria, you seem to be like you are above the law, and they make it look like selective justice. So as far as I'm concerned, Tambuwa, yes, I'm not saying he's guilty or the allegation was right or wrong, or the FCC no power to invite him. or invite him. What happened thereafter will tell me whether or not that investigation was genuinely, that invitation was genuine, or was it an attempt to play a political game.
All right, beautiful.
Bearing in mind that the former governor of Delta State had a similar invitation from FCC or
EFCC.
I can't remember.
EFCC.
He had an invitation, and 3 months thereafter, he did come to APC. State. I'm not hearing anything regarding that allegation of he was alleged to have taken trillions of naira or so.
Yes,
I can't remember.
But
since the day the case was being handled like it's on fire, that if this thing did not happen, something will happen. They did come to APC, and since that time, I've not been hearing anything about that. So if people say no, they should face their case. If they have allegations, they should not put politics into it. If things are played like politics, you must also identify that. For me, selective justice creates this kind of mindset. When you have a situation whereby there are so many people that have been alleged and they belong to a particular sector or a particular side, and they are not being taken, somebody will come and say, is Yahya Bello not a member of APC? Is he not being prosecuted? That will happen. I'm not saying nobody from APC will be prosecuted, but I tell you, anybody that's been prosecuted as a member of a ruling party, it probably because it's against the authority, or probably there's a score they want to take, or they want to make him fall or agree to a certain thing. You can see Yahya Bello is not a gentleman now. He's now cooperating with the government. Before now, he was like anti-government. Before when he was now arrested and he's not being pursued, he became a gentleman and he's now cooperating and he's now working with the government. So for me, even though they are doing their job, they must do the job in a way that they will not suggest that they are working for a particular purpose.
All right, very true, Barrister. EFCC has been there for EFCC has been there for a very long time. The case of selective justice is a perennial issue with the EFCC. It's written all over the place. Rather than pursue those who have siphoned the Nigeria, all they focused on issues that are really not so very important. But Barrister, let's take a look at another story.
No, they will tell you. No, Henry, they will tell you the allegation against Tambuwa is also about siphoning our money. The allegation against him. So I'm not saying that they have an allegation. They can call anybody. But what I'm saying is that to it look like only certain people are being called is what is my own worry. They can call anybody. They can investigate anybody. They can ask questions from anybody. But they must be sure that they are not doing so for a particular purpose. That's my call.
All right, beautiful. Let's look at the other story on the NYC, the NYC young girl.
For that, we have still on Vanguard. We have, that's the VP.
Yeah, no. Showeret leads protest to NYSC headquarters over unjust treatment of core member Oshe Ogwomaye.
Yes.
I have a question for Barrister on that.
Yes, so Barrister, in fact, I feel this story is really a follow-up story because we've not even gotten a tangible solution for this particular story. And I think we even still said this on Monday. So, Barrister Adetunji, so what do you think can be done on this particular story?
Yeah, you see, because you don't have trust and confidence in our system, is the reason why you are seeing all this. We have been told it's not only that there are other members of the what's it called of the
NYC
of the what's it called NYC that have been sanctioned in the same manner. But people believe that it was just a mere bring together, what they call it. They just tried to do that for other people just to cover up, and then people believe that the target was that lady simply because he spoke out. We were told that because he spoke out is why this is happening. But they must have to do a proper investigation, give us proper detail and transparency report for us to know that actually that it was not being it was not a kind of attempt to get back to her for speaking out. And as speaking out has given NYC more improvement in terms of the corpers that their salary have been increased to 70,000 or 75,000. unfortunately, you will not see most of the members who benefited supporting her or standing by her to say, look, see what she did. And anyway, the FCC are saying that is not the case. There is a general punishment for people who have committed one infraction or the other. But you see, I am a small boy, but I have a little experience. Not even a little. I have a wide experience when it comes to the way things are done sometimes. I have seen a situation whereby a government target to demolish a particular shop somewhere let's say somewhere far away from a particular place. The target is that particular area, but they did not start from that area. They started from other area, so that it won't look like it's an isolated case. So when they tried to do all those things, and they eventually got to the place they targeted, and carry out the demolition. But people they will not. When people ask questions, they will say, "No, it's not only him. They will have so many other people have been affected." But I know at that time that it was not everybody. It was just because it was targeted at that particular person, but not to look like it was for everybody. They decided to start somewhere so that they will say it's general. So I know the kind of thing within our country. So I think genuinely we need to be transparent. We need to be accountability, and people should not be punished for speaking out. Speaking out is a fundamental right. Yeah. In as much as you are not committing crime in that area, there's no crime in speaking out. And when you speak out against the government, against what the government is not doing right, you are a patriotic citizen. It means that it's not only when you support government policy or when you speak in favor of government that you are a patriotic citizen. When you also criticize government, when you bring out issues from a government, what government is not doing or what they are not doing right, you are also a patriotic citizen because you are also looking for the betterment of the country. So let's be transparent. Let those in authority do the right thing and not victimize anybody for speaking out or for saying anything. So I just hope that punishment was not because she spoke up.
Very true, Barrister. And a follow-up to that particular story, that leads us to another story, and that is still on the issue of speaking out and people becoming scared that they might be victimized. Another story, 2027. I wouldn't deny Tinubu. We have been friends for 22 years, and that's Soludo. This is coming at a time when the election in Anambra State will be coming up for November. Yeah. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu already had told the APC candidate, go and bring back the state to me. Soludo is still with the APGA. All of this, Tinubu is my friend. Is it not still victimizing the man such that he won't say something that would spill hard on him?
No, it's not victimizing the man. It's an attempt by a politician to curry favor because everybody in Nigeria today, but most politicians believe today in Nigeria that once you are not aligned with the president, you may likely not win the election. That is their mental thinking, and that is why you see everybody aligned with the president. Not because they love the country, not because the president they believe the president is doing well or he has achieved so much, but because of their own personal interest. Soludo is doing that probably because he believes that he will only lose election if the federal government is not supporting him or if the government wants to work against it. Because we all know, except for deceiving ourselves, in our country today, our election is not to an extent not free and fair. Because those who are supposed to even provide the free atmosphere are always taking side. The security agencies who are supposed to ensure safety of everybody and freeness of that election will seem to be working for people, certain people. It need not be government in power. It could be anybody. Once they have a favor of that person, they go with him. So they believe that, bearing in mind what happened in those states and on those states, some of them believe that it was because of the federal might. That was why those people that lost the election. So to avoid that federal might is the reason why you see them lobbying the president and using the name of the president. And that's why you even see in the Sun State a governor that's comfortable in his party trying to begging to decamp to another party, a ruling party, simply because they're thinking being a ruling party secures give you a security to win a election. That's just the reason. It's not about liking the president. It's not about what the president is doing that they believe is doing well or whatever. It's just for their own personal gain and benefits.
All right, beautiful. Let's move to the Guardian newspaper right about now. And we have the big story still. Outrage over Ibom Air incident as IG orders KWAM once probe. What other story do we have there?
Okay, we have Wadada Soludo throw waits behind Tinubu for 2027.
And Lagos moves to regulate rent, curb abuse with new tenancy bill.
We also have NCOS decries low drug supply personnel for 8,000 inmates with health needs.
Barrister, let's take a look at this matter. Reps are pushing to make appeal court final judge in Goba poll disputes. Do you think this would solve the problem of politicians waiting for the elections to be over before they proceed to the court, and hopefully this would reduce the tendency for some governors becoming Supreme Court governors? We have for Hope Uzodinma of Imo State now. Okwebolo is being referred to as Supreme Court governor. Do you think this would mitigate these tendencies?
And who tells you that once if he stops at Court of Appeal, some governor will not be referred to as Court of Appeal governor? It's all about that's the truth, because if it ends at the Court of Appeal, that means the decision of the Court of Appeal will determine who becomes the governor or whoever or senator or whatever. So what is the possibility that those people who said the cases were determined by the Court of Appeal will not be called Court of Appeal senator or Court of Appeal? So you see that we should system. We should do our system in a way that people have confidence in it. There is no confidence in the system, and I don't even I also have my doubt, my concern, because if you look at the Court of Appeal that we're talking about now, if cases were to stop at Court of Appeal before 2023, they have today. You can see that in Plateau State, some of the members of the of the PDP that won election have been relieved of posts.
Yes.
And only the governor remains.
Very well.
And those who are relieved of the election were relieved of their position because of the same factor that brought in that brought in back the governor into office. So my worry is that it appears the Court of Appeal is not showing enough that they have the capacity, or people should have confidence that they can also do much. Even Supreme Court too, they have their own. It's not as if they are also perfect, but at least we have taken them to be defined, and sometimes we see their own as even more thorough than those of the other. So all the effort are geared towards ensuring that, look, we don't spend more time in court, and that court cases are dispensed of before swearing in. The people have been complaining that after you swear somebody in, and that person will now be using government money to pursue a private case, and that's probably they are thinking in that regard. Look, let's change this situation where people will have been somebody will have been sworn in as governor or president or state or whatever, and thereafter the matter will still continue in court. But the point is that if we have free and fair election, we won't see most of these cases in court. It's because the election is not fair and the system is not even fair. Some people don't even have a case. They believe that, let me try court, this can happen. Because if they tell me that the governor of Imo State has gone to court at that time when he went to court, I would say, somebody who came forth. How can he be going to court? What does he intend to achieve? But today is the governor from number 4 to number 1. So anything can happen in Nigeria, and that's why you see most politicians, no matter what the result is, you will see somebody who score 1,000 as against, like say 200,000, and he will still go to court and say he's challenging the results because he believes anything can happen along the line. So they believe that it's not about the law; it's about what step you can take and who you know. And this was confirmed by a senator who openly declared or apologized to his wife for barging into her privacy. He said it openly. These are not my thinking. He said it that he helped his colleague where they're having their cases in court through his wife. So those are the issues we're talking about. The confidence is not there. We need to bring back the confidence, and until that confidence is there, there will be little cases in court. The elections should be fair and should be seen as free and fair. If it's not seen as free and fair, you see more cases in court. And if you think that anything can go, anything goes, it's what happened in our system. You see more people going to court, even though they don't have a case. They want to try their luck and see whether or not something can happen along the line, and they can bring them back to office.
All right, beautiful. You have a follow-up question?
Yes. From what you said, you talked about the steps. So, what steps can be input to have a free and fair election?
It's for us to follow the law the way it should be followed. It's for the INEC to be impartial. In other words, but I doubt if that can happen in our country. I say I doubt in the sense that, look, if you look at most of the people appointed as INEC commissioners and INEC officers, the majority of them are carrying members of the party or sympathizers of the party, and you want that person to conduct election that will be free and fair. That is the issue. The issue is that people will even put in charge of conducting this election are people who have a sentiment, who are partial, who are partial to an extent before being elected, who are associated with people's government. So that is the one way. INEC should be made to be free of people who have a political affiliation or political support from somewhere. We should also not try to align with the law and follow what the law says. And the police officer, the police security agents who are supposed to provide security during election should not work in a way that will be disservice to other party or one party or the other party. So if we are able to do this, no matter what it is, when people talk and say our law, the electoral law must be amended. Yes, I agree that the electoral act is not perfect. But if we even implement the electoral act the way it is today, 50%, free and fair results, they unfortunately will not because of certain influence or sentiment. Until we have that a situation whereby things will be done properly, a situation whereby people believe that law will take its course, and then no, there won't be any influence, there won't be any sentiment or partiality on the part of those who are supposed to run the election. Then we will likely get the adequate result. We must the election must be transparent. In other words, when you are doing the collation, everybody must see it. They don't like the last election where we are doing there is a glitch. You have a 3 election conducted at the same time, going through the same process, and 2 are able to go through, and 1 was not able to go through. Should that not would that not cause a concern? It's a concern, and today nobody has even come to explain what exactly the glitch was about. So until we have a situation whereby things are free and people are free to do the right thing, then we may not be able to get it right.
Very true, Barrister. Lastly, just before we leave for today, Lagos moves to regulate rent, curb abuse with a new tenancy bill. We operate a free market economy where, as a landlord, no government, no law, no legislation can make me reduce my rent or make me do what they want. It's my house. I built it with my money. I pay land use charge. All right. So do you think all of this would work in a city like Lagos?
Government determining the rent to be paid.
Yes.
I think the government can give a fair idea of the fee payable in particular area, in certain area. But the problem I have is that even the government itself, the house they are building, how much do they collect? How much do they charge? And do they even have a house to so if you have a government that have enough, or not even enough, at least we have a reasonable accommodation that people can take at a low price in all areas. People will be forced, those who are owners of property will be forced to reduce their, also compete and reduce their own price. But we don't have, even the one the government is building, if they tell you the amount they are building it, you say, government of property. So that's what people are following. So the government has not done the right thing to be in a position to force anybody to say, look, this is the figure you must collect. We have so many of them who are in government today, who are owners of property, who are taking similar rents, higher rents in their houses. So how could they now come and say they are it's going to be difficult. I'm telling you, they can make law, the enforcement will be difficult. And I don't, if the law is made, and when you know that the enforcement will not be possible, if you are just playing to the gallery, as far as I'm concerned. So the problem is about enforcement, not about the law itself. If they make the law, how will it be enforced? I remember former Governor Fashola made a law that 1 year rent should be paid, and nobody should pay more than 1 year rent. People are collecting 2 years rent or more than, even more than that, and they tell you go and rent a government house. You want a 1 year. This is what I want to collect. If you want to collect, go. And sometimes there's no evidence to back it up that he was asking for 2 years rent. So you have to go and then do for elsewhere. But if you are forced and you don't have any other option again, you'll be forced to take it. So my worry is about enforcement, not about the law itself.
Very true. You notice all those Jakonde estates,
Yes.
you know, it's scattered all over the place. Right now, when you go to some of those places, they are looking more like police barracks, you know, and government has not come to replace some of these things. And the ones government have come to replace with are the ones they virtually sell to themselves for millions of naira, which ends up in the hands of people like them. And the question is, how would someone who has little to nothing survive in a city center like Lagos? That's the reason why you see lots of the local natives right now are moving back to Ogun State, Songo, Mowe. These are people who were people who were mostly living in the city center. But because most of them can't afford rent, and some of them who owns properties, because of issues, challenges, economic problems, they sell off their lands to people that can buy and move back to the village. And it's really very, very bad. And
what you call village, if they tell you, Henry, where you call village, if they tell you how much they pay as rent, you'll be surprised. You will say, this rent, it's also high in those areas because they look at the city. So for me, it's everywhere, whether city, whether village or wherever. The price of everything that costs are very expensive. In my town in Ilorin, that I always think it's moderate to an extent. I was asking somebody to look for somebody was looking for a standalone 5-bedroom duplex. Ilorin, it's 5 million naira.
Really?
I say, how can that happen in Ilorin?
Wow.
Rent. He say 5 million naira. I say, how can that be possible? How can that happen? So, copying everywhere. And what happened in Lagos, people will want to copy and paste it, notwithstanding the environment. So, and unfortunately, the government are not doing enough to force those who are landowners or property owners to reduce their price. So, if they make any law to that effect, yes, the law will be there, but how do we enforce it? That is the question to be asked.
Very true. All right, I think we'll just have to leave it for now.
Okay.
Because of the want of time, you wanted to?
Yes, I wanted to say something about this land issue because this land issue is really disturbing, especially in Lagos. How will I rent a one-room apartment, a self-con?
Yes.
You know, like with a millionaire or even 950. And so, do you know what they do? What they do is that they even have their own extra court on it.
Okay.
Because I think there was an issue that happened.
Okay, so they serve as the agents, isn't it?
Apart from
the
agents,
the landowners and they are equally the agents.
The agents also have another agent that will collect extra fee, and you begin to wonder, okay, if I am paying this huge amount for this house, then why am I having to get to pay another extra? And they will not tell you. They will do it behind closed doors.
Well, it's a very big issue, and
so
we can go on and on this particular matter.
If you want to take self-contained in my estate, you have to get like 2.5 or 3 million.
Wow.
For you to be able to get it self-contained.
Imagine. So he was talking about in his estate. Well, it's a very big problem, and while we do all of this, the minimum wage still stands at 30,000 naira for some places, for some states. It's 70,000 naira, and the question is, how would someone who earns 70,000, pay for a rent of close to $1 million plus? It's a very big issue.
You're telling me to save up for that money. I'm not understanding.
Subsidy is gone. Devaluation of the naira is some of the reasons why we are in this mess. But when will the turn? Barrister will still be here. Federal government drops charges against Ibom Air passenger slashes KWAM ban after stakeholders talk. It's still Enterprise or Morning. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, can we continue, please? David, Barrister is frozen.